worked with before on cocktails that I like to make with the Seedlip, and also got to play with a couple of the other ingredients I have around my house, because while everybody knows me as the health tender and doing healthy things, I also really liked making cocktails when I was still in that realm of the bar world. And I get super weird with what I like to make. I'm a huge advocate of alternative acids and using junk to make treasure, trash to treasure, whatever you prefer to say. So I like to play with different things that are around the house, and also like real weird flavors that you wouldn't expect to play together, but actually be really, really awesome. So I got to do some fun stuff. And so the first one I want to do is kind of sorry, I can't hear when we talk. First one is going to be kind of my spritz with the Grove. And what I decided to do with the Grove was play with some plum, because I had some pomegranate around the house. Ginger beer, that would be the bubbles that are going to go into this. And then I made a lemongrass blueberry cinnamon shrub. And I got a lemongrass paste that was not going to last much longer, along with some blueberries that were not going to last much longer. And then took some plain white distilled vinegar, mashed that all up, and then used the Small Hands gum syrup as my sweetener for that. So love all those products that Jen has, and was able to make a really fun little shrub with that. So proportions on that, and I will still send all these things after we're done today. I'm doing 2 ounces of the Grove. I've got 1.5 of Palm. And last little bit is going to be 1.5 ounces of this wonderful, weird lemongrass blueberry shrub. Then I'm going to top it some ginger beer. And if you want to make it spicier, obviously you go with something that's not, you know, Gosling's, because theirs is pretty tame. I also love, I have like custom picks in my house and have somebody that makes them for me, because I was really deep in the competition game back in the day. I wanted to make sure I was always having the best thing. So here are 5 of your still looking good blueberries that were able to garnish that. So you got a little bit of spice, a little bit of sweet in there, and then that lemongrass kind of makes it a fun little savory bit that goes through. And if you ever wanted to play something a little bit different, you would change out the different vinegars that you're using. If you were to do something like a sherry vinegar or a white balsamic vinegar, that could also add its own kind of fun tinge to it. And every time you do that, you also have the opportunity to change the sugars as well that you're using. Like the gum syrup's fantastic, and I think that what a lot of people like don't realize when playing with Seedlip and the non-alcoholic spirits is that you need to add an additional bit of body to them. So not just acid, not just sweetener, but it needs some body with it too, because it is missing a little bit of that. So that gum syrup is something that can be really fun to play with, because that's the traditional older style that has that thick viscous kind of texture to it. So that's why I chose that one. But yeah, that's a fun one to start with.
That one looks really good, and I'm almost like about to look at flights to Chicago to come take that from you.
When making these, it was fun. Got to drink.
Amie, I wanted to know if I could get Laura to actually talk about what Seedlip is for a second.
You do that. I'm going to try to take a picture of this. Go for it.
All right. Hi, guys. For those of you I don't know, I'm Laura. I am the U.S. Education Manager for Seedlip. So I've been at the company for about 3 years, which is crazy. But I'm based in LA, and pre-COVID, I got to travel all over the country and meet people and pour Seedlip at events and all kinds of stuff. My background is bartending. I worked in New York for a long time before I started with Seedlip. So that's just a little bit about me. Seedlip is, as I think Amie mentioned, a distilled non-alcoholic spirit. So, first and foremost, we call it a spirit because it is the kind of foundation of your cocktail, or the base spirit. And we also call it a spirit because we use distillation in the technique of making it. So there's 6 botanicals in each of the 3 flavors, and each of those botanicals goes through its own separate kind of complex distillation process. We do use a little bit of alcohol as an extracting agent. So we macerate each botanical in neutral grain spirit to extract all of its beautiful flavor. And then we have a 2-part distillation, and distillation is really all about the concentration of flavor. But during that first distillation, we raise up the temperature, just like when you cook with wine. Alcohol and water boil at different temperatures. So we're able to kind of pull off the ethanol and still maintain all the really great natural flavors from the botanicals. There is a little bit of secret science around how we get the alcohol out. But most, like I said, most of that is through temperature. And at the end of the process, each of those 6 botanicals gets blended back together to make the flavor profile. So the one that Amie just used is the Seedlip Grove. That one is 3 kinds of orange peel, lemongrass, lemon, and ginger. And then we have the other 2 garden and spice there, which I'm sure she's going to make some great drinks with. So again, like really kind of the important takeaway is distilled non-alcoholic spirit made from botanicals, and they are alcohol, sweetener, and calorie free. So even though, you know, you're going to add a mixer or add some sort of, you know, sugar, as she said, with the gum syrup, it really helps with the body. That's just going to pull all the flavors of the Seedlip kind of out to life. If you taste them on their own, they're super aromatic on the nose. They're really, really fragrant. But when you taste Seedlip by itself, it tastes a little bit light. So when you add something like a little acid or a little carbonation sugar, that's when those flavors really kind of come to life and pop. So they are designed to be mixed. Our founder didn't think anyone would want to be doing shots of non-alcoholic spirit. So they are kind of designed to be that base or that mixing component. And yeah, that's the really quick elevator pitch. But if you guys have questions, hit me up in the chat box and I'll answer while Amie does the rest of our drinks.
Woo! Thank you, Laura.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to go into spice next. I do love that one a lot. The fun thing about spice is I've been able to sub it out for most rum drinks that I've ever made when I'm doing like a swap out. Because the last program that I was running, I tried to make sure that every single cocktail, there was at least like 5 cocktails on the menu that could be made non-alcoholic, came non-alcoholic, or could be subbed out and like taste the exact same way. And this was an awesome one. It's something that we did with Brugal, is the actual alcohol spirit, if you want to talk about how deep we really went with that. And then we were able to replace the spice with it. It was a rooibos tea, lemon, and pineapple cocktail, and it was dope. I'm sure I have pictures somewhere for that, so I'll show you that. So the next one, I'm playing with the spice then. I have all that little stuff right here. Here's where we get weird again. I love beets. Beets make me happy. And thankfully, living in Chicago, I live in an area where there's a lot of pickled things because of the different populations that have migrated to this area. So I took a big old jar of pickled beets and I removed the vinegar from there. So I took the pickled beet vinegar, tasted it, make sure it was at the right acidity that I wanted for it, and decided to play with that. So I'm doing, again, 2 ounces of the spice. Where am I next? Yes. So the thing I love also, in addition to beet, is dill. I like all kinds of weird things and lots of vegetable things that are awesome. So I actually took the vinegar out, the pickled brine last night, and then steeped some dill with it overnight, because that beet and dill is a really cool combination together. I think like a beet kvass cocktail was kind of what I was trying to go towards. And I used to work at this one really cool bar that served like the most ice cold vodka with a little shot of the beet kvass next to it. And I was trying to go reminiscent of something like that. So with our beet juice, I did 1 ounce of that. And then I went back to that gum syrup again from Small Hand Foods, just adding about 1/4 to it, 1/4 ounce of that. And then the other thing that I used, So rather than juicing any lemons or trying to make anything on my own, there is a grocery store around here that does fresh pressed juices. So I got one of their fresh pressed lemonades and limeade for the next cocktail that I make. So I'm using that and doing 1.5 ounces. That bad boy. And then the loud part. Normally I wouldn't shake a cocktail that's using Seedlip that hard or that long, but because I have the gum syrup in there, I'm able to get a little bit more time spent with that shake and not worry about over diluting. I'm gonna take this little cutie.
Oh, look at that color.
Oh, yeah, I tend to make a lot of red drinks too, if you couldn't tell. It's one of my favorite colors. Just my entire life is red and pink. And then we do garnish with that awesome dill because it's so fragrant and lovely. And I will be better at actually taking a picture of that one.
That's so pretty.
Yeah. And it smells good and it tastes good. And with that lemonade, it's kind of just a basic 1-to-1 lemonade that you could also oh my God, I just messed up this entire stand situation, but that's okay. Something that you could always jazz up either with like citric malic acid if you wanted to do a little bit of different mouthfeel, whatever it might be. You can play around with the different specs of that, doctor up that lemonade on your own. Yeah.
Amie, if you were making that Seedlip with a spirit, like rum, would you do 1-to-1? Would you like split it in half? Would you concentrate?
It's generally a little bit less rum. I go heavier on the Seedlip when I do use it, just because I want as much of that flavor. I know, Laura.
That's a great answer.
Beautiful.
Facts in there,
the more Seedlip, the better.
I love it.
Trying to reach out that like allspice, that cardamom that's in there.
Yeah.
Those are flavors that all play like super well with the beet. The beet goes with the dill automatically. Lemon, yeah. Really fun things to play with.
I can totally see like 1.5 ounces of that Seedlip with 1/2 ounce of Ronza Capa would be like beautiful.
Oh yeah. You mean like doing a split base of it?
Uh-huh.
I would definitely still do a little bit more, depending on what kind of rum you're going with, because you don't want it to outshine what you have here, and you really can like. If you're paying attention to what flavors are in the Seedlip, you could really play around with them and like bring them out depending on what kind of acids and sugars that you use. Do you all want to talk about other things while I go take a picture of this while it's still looking good, or I could wait and just make the next one?
Yeah, we can talk about some things.
Yeah, we can chat.
I'm going to go photographer things.
Where is everybody? I know Lauren's in DC, right? Where's everybody else from?
I'm Bay Area.
Nice.
Los Angeles.
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Oh, cool.
We got a little bit of everyone everywhere.
Some multiple time zones. I like it.
I love it. Laura, I think you and I are probably very good at time zones now. I've had a lot of practice this month.
I'm definitely getting better. I have this app on my phone called Time Buddy, and whenever I have to schedule meetings with people that are like, I've gotten the London time zone down because half of our company's in London, but now I've got like sometimes Hong Kong and like Amsterdam. I'm always like, I have to check the Time Buddy. I don't want to get this wrong. It's tricky.
That's good to know. I need that in my life.
Yeah, it's helpful, especially if you're trying to schedule a meeting that has a bunch of people in different places. It shows you like what time it is everywhere at the same time. So.
Well, it's funny because I don't think time zones, and so when people schedule meetings with me and they're like, "Oh, 4 p.m.," I'm like, assuming EST. So yeah. That's great.
The East Coast always thinks everybody's talking about them.
We're just so damn
self-centered.
Self-centered.
Not gonna lie, I can second that. The moment that I moved to Chicago, all my whole kit and caboodle just completely deteriorated. I don't know where I am. Like, what do you mean it's not East Coast? This is ridiculous. And other stories I tell.
Have I'm interested if any of you on the call have worked with Seedlip before. Rachel, have you? Yeah.
A lot. I, like Amie, really strive when I was running a program to have the non-alcoholic version of lots of cocktails on the menu and make sure everybody working always had kind of like a back pocket NA, and Seedlip definitely was helpful in giving me lots of stuff to play with for that.
Nice.
Yeah, sometimes people kind of want, and I know we have some competitors kind of in, you know, the other parts of the world and starting to be here that are kind of positioned as, you know, non-alcoholic rums or non-alcoholic gins. And like, you know, as Amie said, there are characteristics in the botanicals of each of these that you can use them in place of spirits, but they're not designed to be exactly tasting like a whiskey or a gin. You know, I think it's like, it's fun to think of cocktails in a slightly different way. Like, okay, what flavors go well together? Actually, instead of just being like, I've always had mezcal with grapefruit or whatever, you can kind of be like, wait a second, what is it that's good about this flavor and this flavor together? So even though, you know, they're not designed to be exact replacements or replicas, I think you can still really have fun figuring out like what formulas of classic cocktails each of the different flavors subs in for. Pretty good.
Well, I actually also work for Seedlip. I work on the marketing team, so popping in to see what this is all about.
Y'all ready to do the last one?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So last but certainly not least is the garden. And I feel like people kind of automatically pigeonhole garden into being like a replacement for Hendrix, which it has a whole lot more ability with that. So I was really looking to kind of play around with like the English peas portion of it too. And I was gonna go super weird and do like banana and peas because that's definitely where my mind was, but I had some old mint, some coconut juice, and some limeade. I wanted to play with that. So, but another day. So I have already like put a handful of some like not pretty looking mint in the bottom of my tin. For the garden, again, I'm doing 2 ounces of this. And I'm using that other store-bought limeade, which is just the right amount of sugar that I really want for it. And I don't want it to, it's actually a little more tart than I would care for, which is why we're gonna bring in this other particular sweetener in a second. Doing my butter cocoa, doing 2 ounces of that because I do want to play up with that coconut. And then the fun part, I have a honey and fig jam that is pretty potent and pretty action-packed, like concentrated in the flavor. So I'm just doing a bar spoon of that. And then I'm gonna shake, strain, and since I have kind of like that general freezer ice, that's not quite hotel, but it's still wet, I'm not worrying about muddling the mint because I can just kind of make it work from there. And then I'm gonna top with some LaCroix, however you want to say it, key lime soda.
Oh, you're so fancy, La Croix.
It's everywhere here. It's like very yeah. You're not having like your sink right there so you wash your stuff and you know what goes in the right thing. If you were wondering, I also have flamingo paper straws.
Of course you do.
I'm sure you were worried. So it kind of has an interesting color because of that fig and honey spread, but it's not really unappealing. You've got the fig pieces that are in there, which are really cute. I think if you wanted to, you could certainly straighten them out. And then there, try to find a nice looking piece of, woo, man. And you can kind of just go nuts and decorate with all the mint that you want. Again, using the last bits of mint because I don't like to like waste anything, but that has its own issues with it. Yeah, but we got our little, there you go. This little delightful, refreshing thing.
Looks delicious.
Yeah.
It looks so refreshing.
All of these are pretty refreshing, not gonna lie. Like you can also make these heavier cocktails. There's no problem with doing that with the Seedlip. Just like let's embrace the last little bits of summer that we have here before it turns like into a freezer in Chicago.
You know, it's funny. Seedlip is so obviously botanical driven. I think people often associate it with summer cocktails, but there are some really amazing winter cocktails Seedlip can go in now.
Yeah, your spice goes into toddy land real nice. So does the Grove, honestly, but
Yeah.
all of them you can play with.
Yeah, I think the last time we had a call, Lord, we talked about coconut cream alternative eggnog, and we've got a recipe coming out for the holidays with like an oat milk coconut cream eggnog.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
That sounds amazing.
It's hard to think about. It's so hot in LA. It's very hard to think about the holidays right now, but it's going to be here, I know, very quickly.
Oh yeah, they've already started putting out like Halloween decorations and everything as of like 2 weeks ago, so.
Well, thank you, Amy. Those look incredible. And I just wanted to say too that if anybody on this Zoom wants to private message me your mailing address, Annabelle and I are going to send you a little, it's called a rescue kit, but it's like a little pouch with a mini bottle of garden and some fever tree ginger ale in it and a recipe card from us. So if anybody wants one of those, just private message me your address right now and I'll send one to you.
Yeah. Very kind of you. Lauren, do you have everybody entered for like your contest and everything? Do you need to get
Yeah. So we have a great raffle going on. I'm pretty sure most of you in this room have already signed up for the Seedlip newsletter. If you haven't, it's available in the link at the FO Health Instagram. And if you send your name over to Laura as well, I have your attendance, but being here also makes you eligible. And we have a beautiful picnic basket that comes with, and Laura, correct me, charcuterie board as well as wine glasses.
Yeah, it has like, it's a little mini picnic basket that comes with a bottle of Seedlip, a big bottle of Fever Tree, a little cutting board, a knife, a bottle opener, and 2 little glasses. It's all like wrapped up in the picnic basket. It's super cute.
Yeah, that's going to be accompanied by a yoga mat, and then there will be 2 additional yoga mats up for grabs. So all of your names will be put in the raffle for as many events as you have attended, and most of you in this room have attended basically every single one, so that's awesome.
Super fans.
Yeah, so we'll be announcing that on Sunday.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for letting me be a part of this week. Thank you, Laura, for your continued support on everything that we do that is health and wellness related. It is awesome to see your face again, and you too, Annabelle. I know we've gotten to work together in the past, but haven't gotten to see each other in a very long time. So
I definitely would have been in Chicago at least once, according to original plans. So I'm hoping I can see your face in person sometime soon. But yeah, thanks guys. Thank you for those drinks. I had never thought of, I use coconut water in a lot of recipes with spice and Grove in the past, but I've never put it with garden. So now I'm super curious to play around with that.
Your coconut and mint is an easy peasy thing, and then play around and build from whatever weird stuff you want to go there.
Yeah, I did a coconut oil garden Seedlip, like a wash. So I did a coconut oil fat wash, and then we did a mint julep variation on it. It was so good.
Ooh, sounds amazing.
So
yeah,
good.
and I'm curious to see what happens with it. But banana goes with peas really well. It's like a strikingly weird combination. So you did a banana syrup. Most of my banana cordials that I make are with liquor, so I couldn't figure out how to like not turn it into a sugar banana bomb so quickly. But that banana part would be really good. So I'll play around with that. I'll let you know what I figure out.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that.
A banana garden DAC kind of thing. That would be fun.
I'm into it.
Anything can happen.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep the room open until about 7 if y'all want to stick around and chat with us. But yeah, thank you, Amie. That was great.
You.
And I'm looking forward to making all of those.
Yeah. I'm going to go take this last picture while I have my mint not dead entirely.
Sounds good.
Lauren, who's up next week? What's the programming for next week?
Yeah, so we have Miss Laura Louise Green joining us. Prior food and beverage employee. She bartended for a period of time and then became a therapist. So she specializes in creating programming and content specifically for food and beverage individuals. So we're going to talk a little bit about being mindful in regards to mental health. Alex and Laura will be doing an Instagram Live this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at which they'll introduce Laura and then talk a little bit about what she has planned for the week. And then there'll be some raffles associated with that. Westward Whiskey will be sponsoring next week, and that'll be our final week of reFOHcus. And then we have amazing content coming to y'all for September, so I'm really excited for that.
Cool.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Yeah, but it's really nice. This program has introduced us to a lot of people who haven't really been engaged or involved with Focus on Health. So, seeing Rachel every day is wonderful. And I know Kevin's out in Baltimore and works out with Amie. So it's been nice to see him participate as well. And so thank you all for your support. It's been awesome. We're just excited that this is something that you are all interested in being involved with. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am going to go right now and send you guys your Seedlip goodies before I forget to get it in by the 5 p.m. Friday cutoff so it gets to you faster. So I'm going to go do that. But it was really nice to meet all of you. And I'll my email, I'm just going to put in the chat box right now too in case any of you want to save it. If you ever have Seedlip questions or you need anything from me, we'll just put myself here for you. It's just laura.lashley@seedlipdrinks.com. But hit me up here or on Instagram if you ever need anything. And I'll see you guys later.
Great.
Bye, Amie.
Thank you.
I have to hop off too, guys, but thank you, and I'll talk to you soon, guys.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to email her right now from my Seedlip pouch. Oh man, so what does everyone have planned for the rest of I guess depending on where you are, afternoon, evening, I think that we're in the right range there.
More work.
Yeah.
Oh, you're muted.
What's that?
Okay.
Algae?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the rain just stopped here, and I put a secret garden on the roof of my apartment complex.
Ooh.
I wasn't supposed to have access to it, but I figured out the code and I just started putting a garden up there, and